The movie starts at a farmhouse, in the year of 1918, when the Spanish flu pandemic was at its peak, and the people of America were quarantined mostly in their home. Pearl, the heroine of the movie, who is not a responsible girl, is shown practicing dance at her home. Pearl's mother, who doesn't like Pearl's dancing, scolds and warns Pearl that she will be punished for such doings, instead of concentrating on house chores and taking care of Pearl's ill father. Pearl's mother also asks Pearl not to wear her mother's dresses anymore. She tasks Pearl to do the chores in the barn, and to feed the animals. She talks to her cow Charlie that one day she is going to leave the house, because she does not belong in the barn, and she's special. She wants to become a star, and wants to perform in front of an audience. She then ruthlessly kills a duck because of her frustration, and feeds it to an alligator, which Pearl considers as her pet, which lives in the nearby lake. That night, as Pearl and her mom prepare dinner, Pearl is asked to fetch her father to the dining table, as he's bedridden. At the dinner table, Pearl starts eating first, but her mom asks to feed Pearl's father first. Once the dinner is over, in Pearl's bedroom, Pearl reads the letters that were sent by her husband, who's away from her, in Germany, to fight in the First World War. The next day, she leaves to town with the money given by her mom, to get medicines for her father. After she gets the medicine, instead of returning home immediately, she goes to a nearby movie theater to watch a movie. Once the movie was over, she read the pamphlets issued at the movie theater, by standing in an alley near the theater. She sees the projectionist, and gets along with him. She also lets him know that she would like to dance. The projectionist offers a free show, especially for Pearl. Pearl politely refuses the offer, as she wants to return back to home. He gives Pearl a picture frame from the movie, as a gift, and she leaves to home. On the way back to home, the gifted picture frame flies off from Pearl's pocket, and gets into a cornfield. There, she sees a scarecrow with a hat. Pearl wears that hat and returns home. Her mother scolds Pearl for bringing back a hat home during the pandemic as it could contain germs. She wants Pearl leave the hat outside and clean her. That night, at the dinner table, Pearl's mother asks about the remaining money, after spending to get the medicines. Pearl lies to her mother that she bought candy for that. Irritated about Pearl's irresponsible behavior during the struggling times, Pearl's mother asks Pearl to leave the dinner table, without having dinner, as she already ate candies. Pearl's mother further advises Pearl to be more responsible and careful, as the times have changed. And it's only their responsibility to survive, and make the ends meet. Failing to accept the reality, Pearl leaves the table in disagreement. In her bedroom, she prays to the Lord to make her the biggest star in the world. The next morning, Pearl and her mom are visited by Pearl's mother-in-law and sister-in-law, Mitzi. Pearl's mother-in-law offers a cooked pig to Pearl's mom, as they are facing hard times. But Pearl's mom refuses to take that, scared of germs in it. Mitzi separately informs Pearl about a dance audition that's going to happen in a nearby church, on that Saturday. They both conspire to attend the audition together, without both of their moms knowing. Unhappy about Pearl's mom not accepting the pig, Mitzi's mom leaves the pig with the tray in the porch, and they both leave. Pearl then secretly goes into her mom's room, to steal one of her dresses to wear for the audition, after making sure her mom is not around. She then wears that dress, and leaves to the theater at night to visit the projectionist, as he earlier gave confidence for her ideas. In the theater, the projectionist shows Pearl the projection room, and the place where he is staying. He also offers to screen a special movie for Pearl. Pearl then discusses with him about leaving her house, to go to a far place and become a star. The projectionist encourages her to leave to New York City, as it's full of opportunities. He further mentions to her that he is planning to go to Europe once the pandemic is over, to improve his future in the movies. Pearl receives his thought well, and returns home. Upon returning home, Pearl sees her mom sobbing in her bed, and silently moves to Pearl's bedroom. In the morning, she becomes more determined about leaving the house, and attend the audition at any cost, picks up her father in his wheelchair, and takes him to the lake. Deciding to push father into the lake, to feed to the alligator, she calls upon the alligator. As her father had sensed this, unhelpable, her father simply watches her in silence, scared. Pearl tells her father that she doesn't like living there, and also doesn't like what her father's going through. When the alligator comes near, Pearl's mom, who was already suspicious about Pearl's actions, comes and get her husband and leaves the lake. Pearl, while getting back to home, sees lots of eggs were laid by the alligator. She picks up one of the eggs, and gets it to the barn. Getting frustrated with her husband Horward for leaving her in this situation, she visualizes her husband to be blasted off, simulating it by breaking the gator's egg. During the dinner, Pearl informs her mother that she would like to go to the dance audition. Feeling irritated about Pearl's irresponsibility, even after talking to Pearl multiple times, Pearl's mom lashes out at Pearl in anger. Also, rejects Pearl's request on going to the audition. Pearl even promises that, if she doesn't get picked up in the audition, she won't be speaking about it again. Pearl's mom curses that Pearl will fail the audition, and she'll be living the same life till the end. Slowly, the argument gets heated up. Pearl's mom tells that she knows about Pearl's earlier actions, including her trying to kill her father. She hands over a knife to Pearl to finish off her father, so that she could freely attend the audition. Pearl responds to her mom that she doesn't want to end up like her mom. They both get into a nasty fight, and Pearl accidentally immolates her mother. Badly injured by the fire, Pearl's mom falls to the ground. Not feeling sorry for her mother, Pearl pulls her mother to the basement and locks her up. Then, she has a nightmare, where she performs on a stage, which was watched by her husband, her father and her scarred mother. She wakes up in the projectionist's room, and he offers to get Pearl to her home in his car. When they reach home, Pearl gets into the home first to clean up her messes. Then she calls the projectionist inside, and introduces her father to him. The projectionist gets suspicious about Pearl's behavior, and goes in search around the house. But Pearl manages to convince him that her dog made all the messes, and gets him to the barn and introduces all her farm animals. Then the projectionist asks her dog's name. Forgetting about what she previously said about the dog, Pearl says they don't have a dog. The projectionist grows more suspicious about Pearl, and wants to leave, saying that he had to return to the theater. Also, hiding his feelings, he encourages her to practice well for her audition. Unhappy about this development, Pearl becomes angry on him, and starts to threaten him. She asks him why he is leaving suddenly. The projectionist admits that the activities of Pearl scares him, and he starts to leave the place in his car. Pearl, who gets more angry on this, picks up a fork shovel, and stabs him in his chest. She then pulls him out of the car, and stabs again to death. She then proceeds to kill her badly wounded mother. Sensing the happenings around him, Pearl's father gets very afraid of Pearl. But Pearl doesn't show any reaction to him, simply cleans him up as a regular routine. She then dresses up for the audition, kills her father too by suffocating him. She then pushes the projectionist's car inside the lake, with him in it, and calls for the alligator and leave for the audition. In the church, where the audition is happening, she meets up with Mitzi, who is already waiting in the queue. Mitzi feels scared about getting rejected in the audition, wherein Pearl feels confident about getting selected. So, Mitzi switches her place with Pearl, allowing Pearl to audition first. Pearl then performs a dance number in front of the judges. Even though she performs to her satisfaction, that does not convince the judges. So they reject her. She pleads to the judges that it was the best dancing she had ever done. But the judges tell her that she is not special, and they already have lots of girls like her. Not able to accept the rejection, like her mother said, she makes a scene inside the audition hall, only to be pushed outside. Mitzi sees Pearl crying badly after the audition, offers Pearl to take her back to her home. While entering the house, Mitzi sees that the pig that her mother gave is still in the porch, and in a rotten state. Pearl then confesses to Mitzi that she wants to go to Europe and doesn't want to live in the farm anymore. Pearl then opens up to Mitzi that something is not normal with her, and something is missing in her, the rest of the world has. To console Pearl, Mitzi asks Pearl to imagine Mitzi as her husband Howard, and confess everything. Pearl then tells Mitzi about all her misdeeds, starting with her hate towards Howard, how badly she wanted to leave the farm and become a star, and the horrible things she had done to the family. Sensing danger, Mitzi starts to leave. Pearl suspects something wrong with Mitzi, starts to argue with her, the same way she did with the projectionist. Pearl also starts to scare Mitzi, as Mitzi continues to leave. Pearl picks up an axe, and chases Mitzi. As that was a lonely farm, nobody comes for help to Mitzi's screams. Pearl continues to attack Mitzi with the axe, and kills her. Made up with her mind that she is going to spend the rest of her life on the farm, she wants to make things right, she cleans up her messes, and feed the remains of Mitzi to the alligator. Disappointed about her life, Pearl becomes mentally disturbed, and get her now dead father and mother to the dining table, and have the rotten pig as dinner. Unexpectedly, Howard returns home happily back from war, only to see the mentally ill Pearl, and the unnatural circumstances of the home. The movie ends with Pearl being happy and sad at the same time after seeing Howard.